Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my back to school organization system for senior year. This video is split into two sections, first being the system that I will be adapting for the upcoming school year, and in the second part I will go over different types of systems and the kind of classes they're good for. Before we get started, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you end up enjoying it, and subscribe so you won't miss out more of my back to school videos. Now let's get started. First, I'm going to share with you guys the system that I'm planning to use for the upcoming school year. Now, based on what I've tried in the past, I did a little bit of tweaking, and now I think I've found what will probably work the best for me. It is basically a mishmash of 3 different systems using a binder, folder, and Kokuyo SmartRain binder. I'm going to be adapting the system that I just talked about for 4 of my classes, including geography, biology, chemistry, and math. Meanwhile, I'm just going to stick to a small binder for English since I do most of my notes online. And now I'm going to walk you through as to how I use all 3 of these systems to stay organized throughout the year. Now, as I mentioned before, I do use a 3-ring binder, a plastic sleeve / folder, as well as a SmartRain binder / notebook. As for the Kokuyo SmartRain binder, it is basically a very light notebook, but in binder style since you're able to open and close the ring to rearrange the order of your sheets. I am using this binder only to store my study guides and notes, which I will be using to revise for my IB exams in May. If you're interested in seeing how I take notes, I will have my most recent note-taking video linked in the description box below. So all the notes you will find in this notebook, I will make sure they are neat, concise, but also includes all the points since I will be eventually revising from this. Therefore, these notes will be a combination of both textbook and in-class notes. Now for the folder, it is something new I am adapting this year. I found through the previous years that my backpack becomes extremely heavy just having to carry 3 binders around, despite having to carry 5 this year. I decided to go for a folder along with the binder. Essentially, I will be using these folders to keep everything for the unit that we're currently learning. This way, I would only have to bring 2 very slim notebooks / folders to school for each of my classes, greatly reducing the weight of my backpack overall. I personally purchased these plastic sleeves when I placed my Kokuyo order, but any folder would honestly work for this. Lastly, I have my binder, which I will use to keep all of the units we've covered so far. So at the end of each unit, I will take everything out of the white folder that I showed earlier and place it in the binder for storage until I will need it again. And now I will be showing you guys how I'm going to organize my paper within the binder. So on the cover, I have my class labeled in a quite aesthetic sticky note alongside the date of my exam. So on the left hand side, on the inside, I have printed out a checklist based off my syllabus. I took inspiration from a handout that our math teacher gave us last year and did some modifications to fit my needs for my other classes. Essentially, I'd included a category of study notes, flashcards, and practice questions, and for math, the flashcard column is replaced with homework. I have also included a category of understandings where at the end of each unit I will label it as being fully understood, somewhat almost there, and needing to review as soon as possible. Now moving on to what I actually keep within the binder other than the notes that I will be organizing. So in the beginning, I have printed out an overview as well as a detailed syllabus which is available to me online. Following that, I have migrated some of my important papers from last year, such as any tests we've written, my summary notes, as well as IA descriptions and information. Additionally, I have added sticky notes to differentiate between the different units, and as the school year progresses, I will continue to fill up the binder with different homeworks and notes, as well as more sticky note dividers. And that is pretty much it for my system. On the note of mentioning flashcards earlier, I thought I would show you a couple examples I have from biology and chemistry. I learn best when I write things down, so most of the time I don't use flashcards to necessarily test my knowledge, but rather learn and study through the process of making them. Now, I'm not going into details to talk about my flashcards since I have a video planned for next week. Something unique about me and flashcards is that I only use one side of it. Anyways, I'll keep the rest for the upcoming video. But while I'm at it, I do really want to mention that flashcards are very effective for classes like biology, history, where there's a ton of memorization. Definitely invest in trying it out if you have not already. Apart from organizing your papers, there's a couple other aspects that I think is very important, such as your pencil case. Only bring the necessities to school and don't bring an excess amount of pens. The same idea goes for your backpack. Keeping your backpack clean is essential and key to everything else. And last but not least, clean your laptop and phone. Delete all the files or apps that you no longer need to allow space for new documents, and also organize files into folders. So that pretty much wraps up for the first portion of the video. I'm going to be discussing some common ones and the types of classes that they are suitable for. So the first system you can look into is simply using binders. You can always go for one for all or one for one. Now what that means is you can use one bigger binder for the entirety of your courses, or you can use one subject per binder. Now if you are in middle school or is just going into freshman year, using the one for all system is more than enough. However, if you're going to sophomore year or any of the above, or if you're taking any AP IB or intensive courses, then I would definitely recommend going for one subject per binder. Now, dedicating one notebook per class could also be useful if your classes are mostly note-taking based and require taking notes from the textbook almost every day. Last but not least, we have Duotanes. I feel like these have such a bad reputation, and it seems like we're going all the way back to elementary school because that's the last time I used them. But honestly, if you're in middle school or you have a class that doesn't give a lot of handouts like any electives, this is such a great way to reduce the weight of your backpack. Apart from what I've said so far, I also wanted to add on what subjects are suitable for what kind of organization system because I thought you guys would find this helpful. But essentially for any math or any course where calculation is your main thing, I would definitely go with a binder if you're unsure, since they're really easy to flip through and look for specific examples and sets of notes. Now for chemistry, it's slightly different than just math and physics because it requires both calculations and conceptual understanding. So for me, I think the best way to go about this is having a notebook for your notes and the conceptual things, and then having a binder for any class handouts and any calculations that you do. And lastly, the only other subjects that I'm really personally familiar with are English, geography, history, and biology. These are more of the context-heavy classes where memorization is key, and to be honest, these ones you can go with whatever system you prefer or whatever is convenient for you, since it doesn't really require too much organization. However, here's my suggestions anyways. If you are more or less a more organized person, then I would go with a binder where you can do your notes on loose leaf and place it in. This gives you more freedom of reorganizing your notes at the end of the year and mixing it between handouts. But if you're more likely to lose your paper, then go with a notebook and take your notes in one place. So that concludes for all of my tips and my organization system. Before I finish up this video, I just want to pop in and say that I am doing a giveaway on my Instagram with a couple of my friends, so I will link that below if you want to check it out and maybe win a backpack. And that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe so you won't miss out more of my back to school videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys!